In this segment, I want to explain the functions of the 4 dip switches on the 554 series Rola-Chem controller. The dip switches are located in the lower panel, but before we take the panel off, I want to make certain that the controller is unplugged so we don't get any electrical shocks. To remove the panel, just unscrew the 2 screws on either end and remove the panel. Now the dip switches are located in the left hand side, and it's the blue block right here, and they're labeled 1 through 4. The first dip switch is designed in the on position so the ORP won't feed when the pH is feeding, and the ORP won't feed if the pH is out of range. If it's in the off position, both the pH and ORP will feed. The number 2 dip switch is called a consecutive cycle, and in the off position the controller will have no set limits on consecutive cycles to correct the chemistry. But if it's in the on position, the factory default is 10 cycles. So if the ORP tried to feed 10 cycles and couldn't correct the chemistry, the ORP will start to flash. In other words, it'll alert out and not feed it anymore. And the same thing with the pH. If it goes 10 consecutive cycles, doesn't correct the pH, that too will flash. The number 3 dip switch is in the off position. It's set to feed pH when the number goes above the pH setting, and if it's in the on position, it is set to feed 1 cycle if it's below. So basically you're just going from acid to base. And the number 4 dip switch, if it's in the on position, what it does is it renders all the keypads useless. So the number 4 dip switch, in the off position, you can use all the keys on the keypad itself, but if you want to isolate it so nobody can change your settings, you can turn that to the off position and it renders the keypads useless.